1 million views. It sounds like a ton, and don't get me wrong, it absolutely is. But did you know that 1 million views is not equal depending on where those views came from? What I mean by this is if you get 1 million views on YouTube, more often than not, those 1 million views are way more valuable than if you were to get 1 million views on TikTok or 1 million views on Instagram or 1 million views on many other platforms out there. And this is something that many people don't know. So today I'm going to be shedding some light on this. In this video, I'm going to be breaking down how much I got paid for my first 1 million views on YouTube versus my first 1 million views on TikTok. I'm going to be breaking down why these views are different, how much you can expect to earn if you're a YouTuber or a TikToker, and I'm going to be breaking down my exact numbers as well. So let's get started. Now, I've been a content creator and a YouTuber for just about 2 years now, which is honestly crazy to think about. I made my very first video mid-January of 2020, and I haven't turned back since. But there is one social platform that I have way less experience in, and that is TikTok. You see, I decided to start taking TikTok seriously this past November, so just about a month ago. And I have committed myself to try my best to post 1 TikTok per day. Now, I haven't quite stuck to that schedule. I've been averaging about 5 TikToks per week, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I have been really pleasantly surprised with the results, both with how fast my profile is growing, how many views I'm getting on a day-to-day basis, but also how much money I'm making on TikTok as well. So what I thought would be fun to do in this video is to compare how much money I made for my very first 1 million views on YouTube versus my very first 1 million views on TikTok. I'm going to be breaking down how much money this was, how long it took to accumulate these views, and all of the details that you would like to know if you're somebody who's interested in expanding into TikTok. But before we dig in, if you guys could do me a huge favor, and if you could hit the like button and hit the notification bell for the YouTube algorithm, I would greatly appreciate it. This helps let YouTube know that you guys are enjoying my content, and thus it pushes my content out to a new audience. So if you could do that, I would greatly appreciate it. Now let's first talk about some of the differences in these two types of platforms, because I do think that these differences is really important whenever we're looking at the earning potentials for these two platforms. Now, you guys are of course familiar with YouTube. If you're watching this video, then you are currently on YouTube, so I won't go into a ton of depth here. But with YouTube, it is of course an online-based platform. You share videos, and there are some key components of YouTube. Number one is the fact that YouTube is a pretty production-heavy endeavor. Now, there are, of course, low-effort YouTube videos out there, but if you look at successful YouTube creators, more often than not, you will see that they have put a lot of time, energy, and effort into the videos that they create. YouTube is something that you absolutely can get started with relatively easily, but if you're somebody that really wants to excel in this space, you really do have to invest time, energy, and money into making the endeavor work. For example, with my channel, even though my channel is considered to be a relatively low production channel, it still takes me between 5 and 10 hours to research, film, script, edit one single video. That is a really large time commitment. Not only that, but over the years, YouTube to an extent has kind of taken over my life. I have spent countless hours trying to learn how to edit and improve my content. I've invested thousands of dollars into equipment, lighting, cameras, lenses, and so much more. And I have an entire studio built out in my house that is exclusively dedicated to YouTube. It really is a pretty high effort side hustle, and it's something that can be very daunting and pretty time intensive to get into successfully. TikTok, on the other hand, is vastly different. In fact, whenever I first got started with TikTok, I tried to make TikToks with the expensive camera equipment that I already had. My goal was, hey, if I make really high production TikToks, maybe I will start to gain followers. And with my first few TikToks I made, I got like absolutely no views. So I decided to pivot instead to what is currently trending on TikTok. And believe it or not, ever since then, I found a ton of success recording TikToks with my iPhone 11 Max Pro. This is just a normal cell phone that the vast majority of people have, and whether you have an iPhone 11 Max Pro, an older model, or a newer model, you can create really successful TikTok content just with your cell phone, and nobody will notice that your content or production value is lower because everybody is using this. In addition to the equipment being different than YouTube, the time commitment is vastly different as well. You see, TikTok content is either 3 minutes or less, so it's very short form. As a result, the videos do not take that long to produce. Now, the type of content that I make on TikTok revolves around franchising and business failures. I make videos talking about how much it costs to open certain types of franchises. For example, example, Papa John's, Taco Bell, Wingstop, things like that. And another topic that I cover is why certain businesses failed. For example, why Quiznos failed, why Toys R Us failed, why Radio Shack failed. These are kind of the two topics that I found a lot of success with on TikTok. And though I do have to research these topics and I do write out scripts, the time commitment is vastly different. And from start to finish, it only takes me about 30 minutes to create, edit, and finish a TikTok video versus that 5 to 10 hours that it takes on YouTube. Now, with both YouTube and TikTok, the details surrounding how creators get paid is pretty hush-hush. Not that many people want to talk about it. In the world of YouTube, these details are starting to become more and more open. There are more YouTube creators that are willing to share how much they earn. But I found that with TikTok specifically, it still is relatively elusive, and not that many people know how much money you can make on TikTok. And the people that do talk about it seem to have very different numbers, so it's hard to get a consistent estimate on how much certain creators make. Now with YouTube, the way that you get paid is through the YouTube Partner Program, and you get paid through Google, which owns YouTube. And the amount of money that you can make on YouTube will depend on a number of different factors, including how long your videos are, including what types of videos you create. Certain topics are more valuable than others, as well as what time of year it is. For example, December, you will earn more money per view than you will in January. And while these details are relatively known to the general public, or at least to YouTubers, the same types of details are not as known for TikTok. And even as a TikToker, I'm not exactly sure how earnings are calculated. Now with TikTok, there is something called a creator fund. And my understanding of the creator fund is that there is a pool of money, and this money gets distributed to different creators based off of how many views they've gotten. I'm not exactly sure if the type of videos you create or the length of videos that you create matter when getting paid by the creator fund. The details surrounding the creator fund and how much you can get paid, it really is kind of an elusive thing. So now that we know some of the different details of TikTok versus YouTube when it comes to content as well as monetization, now let's dig into my exact data, because I know that that's what you guys ultimately want to see. Okay, so here you can see my graph for my first 1 million views on YouTube. Now with YouTube, 1 million views is considered to be a really high mark. A lot of YouTubers never reach 1 million views. Getting 1 million views on one single video is something that is very difficult to do, and whenever you do it, it's a big feat. Basically, with YouTube, 1 million views is a very high value, high marked thing. It's a big accomplishment whenever you reach it. In fact, in my 2 years of being on YouTube, I've only had about 4.5 million views. I say only, like 4.5 million views is a ton of views, but it has taken me a very, very long time in order to get that. Now, whenever it comes to my very first 1 million views, it took me about 8 months or so to reach that mark. If you look here, you'll see that I started my channel back in the beginning of January. And if you look at the graph, you'll see that the graph was pretty stagnant for the entire time that I was posting for the first few months. You can see that there's like maybe one day, like on April 13th, I had 156 views, but for the most part, the views were really low, just kind of puttering along, slowly gaining traction, but definitely not at any sort of impressive rate. Now, this entire time, I was not making any money on my YouTube channel. With YouTube, you have to have 1,000 subscribers and you have to have 4,000 watch hours in order to be monetized. And at this point, I did not reach that threshold. And so because of that, for the very first 5 months of making YouTube content, I did not make a single dollar. So here you can see kind of that overhead view of how my views trended during this 8-month period of time. And you can see how I accumulated 1 million views. If you look at earnings, on the other hand, you can see that the graph looks almost identical. And during this 8-month period of time, for 1 million views, I was paid $13,687.58. On the other hand, you can see my TikTok here. I have 38,000 followers on TikTok, and you can see the videos that I've posted here over the last couple of months. I have one video on my TikTok that has 1.1 million views. This is the very first time that I've ever had one single video reach 1 million views, which was a really cool milestone. But one thing that you'll notice on TikTok is that getting 1 million views is significantly easier. 1 million views on TikTok is much less valuable than 1 million views on YouTube. Now, while it took me 8 months to reach 1 million views on YouTube, it only took me a couple of weeks to reach 1 million views on TikTok. And if we take a look at my analytics once again, specifically my Creator Fund analytics, you can see that for this 1 million views, I was paid out $9.23. Now on TikTok, I'm averaging between 100,000 and 250,000 views per day. And so you could average that out to getting paid between $1 and $2 per 100,000 views, which is quite a lot lower compared to YouTube, where I get paid about $15 per 1,000 views. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, I was pretty happy with this number because I've heard so many horror stories about how much money you can make on TikTok. I've heard of creators that have millions of followers, get millions of views per day, and yet they only make a couple of cents. And so for me to make about $3 per day, $2 per day, I was really happy with that. In my mind, that's like a cup of coffee a day. And I think that that's a pretty good win, especially considering the fact that I started making TikToks with absolutely zero expectation. Now, once I have some more data with my TikTok, I do plan on making another comparison video similar to this, but for the sake of this video, I thought that it would be cool to take a deep dive into that first 1 million views because of the fact that I've officially reached that platform on both TikTok and YouTube. Now, when it comes to TikTok, I ultimately think that it's not a great idea to get onto that platform for the sake of making money, because if you do, you will quickly get disappointed. I think that TikTok is a really cool place to have some fun. I think it's a cool place to gain a following, and I think it's a cool place to plug some of your other ventures. For example, I plug this YouTube channel on every single TikTok I make, and as a result, I have seen an uptick in subscribers for this YouTube channel. But I think that making money is kind of just the icing on the cake, and I think it's a nice added bonus, even if it's just a couple of dollars per day. With that being said, you guys, I wanted to make this video because I think being transparent about how much money you can make in the world of content creation is very important. And when it comes to TikTok, I don't think there's that many people talking about it, and I think there's a lot of confusion surrounding around how much you can make. Like always, if you have any questions, comments, if you have anything to add, I would love to hear it, so make sure to leave a comment down below. And while you guys are at it, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.